decided I've got to break the system. And it's the most powerful lobby in the world, the drug company. Most powerful, they are the most powerful. And I'm not saying bad, good, I'm not saying anything, but they have tremendous power.
We got a couple of special guests with us. Kim Bright, you know Kim Bright. She's a regular on our show. She's the pioneer in the nutrition industry. She's an expert in health and wellness and founder of Brightcore Nutrition, which is an advertiser of the Jimmy Dore Show. Thank you very much. It's now in its 27th year. Since the 80s, she's been appearing regularly on national syndicated and local radio, television programs, educating people on how to optimize their health. Welcome to the show, Kim. Also with us is Mary Holland. She's an author, speaker, and CEO of Children's Health Defense, one of my favorite organizations. She's an organization. It's an organization focused on legal strategies to defend children's health and obtain justice for those injured. Before joining the Children's Health Defense in 2019, she taught at NYU School of Law for 17 years and lectured at Columbia Law School on international human rights advocacy. This week, she traveled to the White House to join President Trump and his HHS Secretary, RFK, for the release of the MAHA Commission's MAHA report on the chronic disease epidemic among the nation's children, and she's here to talk about it. Welcome to the show, Mary Holland.
Thank you so much.
Great to see you.
Be here.
So this happened this week, right? So now I know Kim's a big MAHA supporter. That's why we like to have her sit in on this conversation. And
Yes,
this is from the MAHA Institute. This is the most important day for MAHA since RFK Jr.'s confirmation. Right now, tens of thousands of D.C. bureaucrats are working to subvert the MAHA agenda. That ends now. So tell me what happened at this last week that we should know about, and tell us about what MAHA has accomplished in the first 100 days. What's in that report?
Sure. So yesterday was the meeting at the White House with President Trump and Secretary Kennedy and many members of the cabinet. And it was to talk about the first 100 days. So President Trump's executive order said after 100 days, they have to give us a diagnosis. Why are America's children the sickest children in the world? Why are their lifespans likely shorter than their parents and they're not healthy? And then in another 100 days, they have to tell us the prescription. What are they going to do to turn it around? So they identified ultra-processed food is one of the key drivers, chemical exposures as another, the lack of good transparency and gold standard science, and over-medication of American children. Those were the key factors in this about 70-page report, which involved all of these heads of agencies, labor and agriculture and Veterans Affairs and people at the FDA and NIH. So it was a major collaborative effort that Robert Kennedy led.
And so what were some of the big takeaways?
Well, the takeaways is that the kids are really sick, and that likely the culprits are 70% of their diets are for ultra processed foods that have plastics and additives and preservatives and petroleum-based products, and they don't give nutritional value. The chemical exposures are in our air, in our water, fluoride, things that they put in the foods, things that they're put around us that people don't even, in carpets and everything. And then over medication. So many children are put on, ADHD drugs as young kids. The explosion in psych drugs for children has been just unbelievable. President Trump even reiterated that we've gone since the 1980s of 1 in 10,000 kids with autism to 1 in 31 is the most recent number. So we have a crisis. Bobby Kennedy said it's existential. I point out that Bobby founded Children's Health Defense. So in many ways, he's taken this agenda from the nonprofit sector and put it at the heart of the U.S. government, which is just beyond exciting, Jimmy.
So, well, let me show you. Here's something that Trump said. I think this was from the meeting. So here he is talking about the control that big pharma and the power they have inside government.
I decided I've got to break the system. And it's the most powerful lobby in the world, the drug company. Most powerful, they are the most powerful. And I'm not saying bad, good, I'm not saying anything, but they have tremendous power over the Senate, over the House, over the governors, over everybody. And they spend more money, billions and billions of dollars. And I said, I don't care. I got to do I have to do what's right.
So That's kind of momentous for a president of the United States to talk about the strength of the pharma lobby and the control on the government, is it not?
Oh, it's huge. And Bobby Kennedy in that ceremony, Jimmy said, I've met every living president since my uncle died. And this is the first president that I've met who's been really willing to stand up to big industry this way. Now, the proof is in the pudding, but it was major for these people to come together and articulate that they're going to end this control of our health regulatory agencies by pharma.
So, would you say overall you're happy with what's in the MAHA report of the first 100 days?
It's a great beginning, Jimmy. It is not the end by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot more that needs to happen. But this was the prescription. This was the diagnosis, not the prescription. So it's a great start. It's unprecedented, and I'm encouraged.
Kim, now how do you see the first 100 days?
I think it's great. And I'm so excited for this because I've been working with people for almost 50 years. I got called crazy when I said, let's take the chemicals out of your, get your carpet out of your house. People thought I was crazy. Doctors said, don't listen to her. Food's got nothing to do with your problems. I mean, back in the day, it was nuts. The one thing that I didn't notice on there that I would really encourage, and I feel very honored to be on with you, Ms. Holland, and I'm so proud of what RFK Jr. is doing, and all of you, I just, from the bottom of my heart. But, with all these kids having these chronic diseases, and when did they really start to kick in? We're looking at back in the 80s, right? Well, one thing that I don't think has been really being addressed are the EMFs. We didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have all the computers. We didn't have 5G. We didn't have all of these things bombarding our cells. And science, there's a lot of science on this stuff. And I think that I would really respectfully ask that if you could, talk about them with this kind of thing and investigate this as well as all the chemicals that are everywhere in the skies and the air. I know it's a huge, it's almost incomprehensible the amount of chemicals that they have dumped into us. And it's almost unbelievable that we're even attacking this. It's become such a monster. The people that have been in charge of our government, our health, have created this machine that has destroyed our health, our children's health. It has killed many. It's been stealing our children's futures. And I just can't thank you all enough for everybody stepping up to the plate. And it all started with the leader of the band, with President Trump. So I'm excited.
It's all about, you talk about how our food got so poisoned and our water is everything's full of chemicals and our ultra processed food. That's because of the regulatory capture of our agencies, right? The FDA, the CDC, Big Agra has isn't that the big problem? And so RFK has this history of standing up to chemical companies and winning, and standing up to big pharma and winning. And so he's the perfect person to take this on, correct?
Right. He's a corruption buster. That's really what he's been doing in litigation for 40 years. And just to say to you, Kim, in the first Trump executive order creating this commission, it specifically mentions electromagnetic radiation. And I know that that's something that is very near and dear to Bobby Kennedy's heart. We've been fighting for having people be able to get rid of EMFs when it's harming them for 6 years at Children's Health Defense. So I know this is an issue near and dear to his heart. And even if it's not in this particular report, it's on the agenda for sure. Because you're exactly right. We didn't grow up with all of these electromagnetic new fields around us in tablets and cell phones and TVs and stations all over the place.
And so,
I know directly, and I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for telling me that. But I know when I counseled children that had cancer and other people, and I'd go to their house and they're living under, these big, huge electric wires. And I'm like, you've got to move, and I looked at everything. And that's why they were trying to call me crazy, because they were like, what is she talking about? That's not a problem. So I am so happy that all this is finally coming out. The truth is finally coming out. And I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Well, but if RFK, we covered it here. He even has an initiative to get cell phones out of classrooms, correct?
Yep, he does. Correct.
And, cell phones, they talk about Bobby has talked about how they can even cause cancer, right? Am I right about that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's good evidence about glioblastoma, brain cancer from people holding cell phones very close to their heads. In the fine print on cell phones, they tell you to hold it 6 inches away from your head. How many people do you see walking around holding it 6 inches from their head? That's not how people use them. No, there's a lot of toxic exposures that people aren't aware of. And so a big part of what Bobby Kennedy keeps saying is radical transparency, gold standard science. He is going to follow the science where it leads, and he is going to share that with the American people. And that's what we need.
Come see us live in Los Angeles, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Ottawa, Glasgow, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, London, Liverpool, Birmingham. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.